What's good, fam? It's your boy Gen Z Daddy here. Today, we're going to talk about something that happens to virtually every single one of us, I believe. It's a breakup. It can be one of the most daunting, terrifying, heart-wrenching things that's ever happened to you, but it can also be one of the best things to facilitate growth that you'll ever go through. It literally changes everything. I'm going to talk about my experience. I'm going to give you guys feedback on how to deal with a breakup that you might be going through or that you might be going through later in life, or get you prepared for the mindset of if it happens, it's okay. Because the reality is, almost every relationship you get into, it sounds so negative. It does, but hear me out. Almost every single relationship you get into will fail. That's okay, especially in our late teens and in our 20s. I know by the time we get closer to 30, we kind of want to settle down. In our early 20s, late teens, it is a-okay to get in a relationship and then have it fail. Because failed relationships are something that you can learn from greatly. I'm going to talk about my biggest breakup that happened to me, how it changed my life, and how if something similar happens to you, hopefully you can change your life for the better too, because it really does kind of alter your mind and make you feel like I have to do something different because I'm going crazy. I'm going to break it down. The first real breakup I had was in 2021. And I say real because I've had other breakups before. And sometimes, I don't know if this is just me, but I've had relationships where it's good. We've hung out for a few months. I really like the chick. But then something happens and we break up, and at the end of it, I'm not feeling a gaping hole where it's like, wow, I feel like I just lost someone so important. I just feel more or less a little sad, like, oh, now I don't get to see her. Now I don't get to go do this activity with her. And it's more of a sad feeling and less of a gaping hole feeling. Any breakup can be real. It can be a relationship that you had for a month. It can be a relationship you had for 2.5 years, 5 years. Any breakup can feel real. So I'm not here to discredit, like, you need to reach X amount of time for it to be a real breakup. No, if you have true feelings invested in this person and it is a breakup, it is a real breakup. But sometimes I think, especially when we're a little bit younger, in the teens and like, or even early 20s, we just get excited and a little rush about talking to someone. And so you might rush into a label, and then when the breakup happens, it's not detrimental. You don't feel like the world is ending. So for those breakups, they still matter, but I'm talking about like a real diehard, felt everywhere throughout your body breakup. My first real breakup happened in 2021. I'm just going to tell you about it a little bit. I don't want to go through the year and a half and paint the picture of everything. So luckily for myself, I am a journalist. I have written down many life events throughout the weeks, years, from all the way back to 2014 up to now. I think I've been doing this for like 11 years. So I'm going to take you back in time to November 30th, 2021. So it was maybe a week or so after my real breakup. And these are some of my thoughts. I'm going to paraphrase some things, but I'm literally going to read straight from the source. I have my journal right here. You'll be able to feel my raw emotions. It'll be interesting because there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but I just want you to feel these emotions right now. So 11/30/21. I've been avoiding this for a while now because once I write this down, it makes it real. It makes it true. The reality sometimes doesn't hit because it's still so new. Me and my ex are over. I can't believe it. I can still remember that night coming home from my job. She was on the couch, sad, almost crying. I kept asking her if she was okay, but I didn't want to pry. We had had a deep conversation a few days prior. She wanted to break up. She always felt underappreciated. She doesn't want kids. She can't make me happy. She cried a lot. Like, a lot. And it was sad. It was hard. I know in my heart that I love her, and seeing her cry over me because of how I made her feel ruins me. I wish I hadn't said some things or done some actions that spoke so much volume to her. I wish I could make it all better for her. The day before our breakup was magical. She had me convinced that if I work on appreciating her more, then we could stay together. Every night for the last few days, I tried to do something special. I got back from work on the 21st of November, and once I cleaned up everything, I sat down next to her to try and make her feel better, and she dropped the news. At first, I just tried to stop it. I told her, please don't go. Please don't leave me. Please stay. But slowly and surely, she packed up her stuff and made phone calls to go. She called her friend to come back and get the cats and help her. She called her dad to try and get him to be able to use the truck to move out. Neither of them sounded surprised that we broke up when she told them that, and that broke me. They both were like, oh, okay. I know our relationship had problems. I even wrote about them for the last year and a half in this journal. But it made me so sad that she must have been talking to people about it. They weren't surprised at all. We've had some small encounters since, and she's told me she's talked about it with her friends. Her friends bash me, but she sticks up for me. That makes me sad. I tried hard to be good friends to her friends. I know we didn't see them often, but I tried to be a good guy. All I know is that I am sick. I have codependency for real. My mom gave me a book about it, and everything fits the shoe. Everything they talk about is exactly how I feel. My ex had her own problems. A healthy relationship helps one another through problems. A codependent one suffers in the same problems together. I made each and every one of her problems my problem, and that's unhealthy. I tried every way I could to make her happy and her life easier, which is basically enabling. It's a vicious cycle that codependents go through where they help because it feels good, but then feel used because the other person didn't reciprocate to that degree. It goes on and on for a couple more pages, but you get the idea. I was very broken, very down in the dumps, and I felt like I was the reason that everything came to an end. Because of that, there are certain things that I knew I had to do. I knew I needed to overcome this codependency, and coincidentally, a lot of people in their first big relationship where they might move in together with their partner develop codependency because it's so new, it's so exciting, and and they're both so excited to see each other and do everything together, and you almost become one person instead of staying two separate people that come together to add value to each other. And that is so important to a relationship, is that you guys add value to each other. You're not becoming each other. It's something you live and you learn, and I'm very grateful for my experience that I had. As you can see, those were real raw feelings, and you will feel those. I can't even explain how much more intensely, because this is just writing, and I may not have had the same passion that I had when I was writing it, because it was years ago at this point, reading it aloud. But I know it takes me back to a time of when I was so sad. There were times when I would write sad song lyrics in my journal about songs that resonated with breakups that made me feel like I wasn't alone. There were times when I was crying on the floor because I felt so useless. So why would anyone love me? And it sucks. But it changed everything. It changed my life. It kind of pushed me in the right direction to become a more independent, more self-fulfilled person. Because when I was younger, fulfillment came from pleasing others. And there is something to be said there. It is good to please. It is good to serve others. You don't want to be a people pleaser, but it is good to help out other people, but it shouldn't be your priority. So now we're going to skip ahead almost a year, because there are a lot of journal entries over the next few months where I'm sad. But I want to highlight this journal entry about 7 months later of when I started doing stuff that I do to this day to get over my ex, and how it changed my life, and to show you that even though the emotions feel so cumbersome right now, everything feels so fresh, that even in a few short months, you will feel happiness again. July 22nd, 2022. So I'm hoping to write the big journal entry all about my vacation right now. It started off running the 5K. I know I already talked about it a bit, but my runner's number and tag is posted on the next page. It's awesome. I am so proud of myself. I never thought I could do anything like that alone, but here I am. You drove down to do the packet pickup all alone. You drove down the following morning and followed the volunteers who directed me to the parking spot without anyone by my side. You decided to follow the crowd and walk all the way down the hill to the starting position all by yourself. I tried making small talk with other people, the other people who were racing in a group or with their parents. I came and saw and conquered on my own, in nothing but a tank top, basketball shorts, and basketball shoes. Someone even commented on the shoes I was wearing, but you still ended up crushing it. I found my spot on the starting line, asked a couple questions to a group of people my age, and then when it was time to run, I ran. I liked the run for a couple reasons. Reason one, it was a bunch of people who wanted to do the same thing all together. Because of that, anyone I talked to was super ready to help and or guide me. Reason two, the instructions are simple. All I had to do was run. I had to put one foot in front of the other for close to 25 minutes at a rapid pace, and boom, that's it. I was done. Reason three, it was a way to challenge myself and also prove to myself that I can do it. Now I want to do more. So without beating a dead horse, the run was extremely fun, and I really want to go sign up for the next one. Let's shoot for late August to early September. Moving on, let's talk about how mountain climbing was. I drove up to the Adirondack Mountains that night and rested. And then because of my work schedule being so early the weeks before, I literally woke up at 3:30 that morning. I was so excited, but I knew I couldn't climb in the middle of the night, so I waited till 6 a.m. When 6 a.m. rolled along, my journey up Cascade Mountain was 2.4 miles, and it was all uphill. It was challenging at times, even for me, and I'm a pretty fit guy. But that's what made it all the more rewarding at the end. When I reached the peak, it was just a barren rock, 4,000 plus feet up high. No trees, just big rocks and a view of absolutely everything. The view was incredible and made it all worth it easily. A couple reached the peak shortly after I did and I offered to take pictures of them. Afterwards, they took pictures of me and let me use their bug spray. But I did it all by myself. I climbed my first mountain alone, and before it reached 8 a.m. I was a baller. I write this because at the time of a breakup, the walls feel like they're caving in. You feel suffocated. I remember I was living with my partner, and when we broke up, there was maybe like a week left on the lease. So it was a good time to go to like find an out. But it also made it a tough situation because I had to move back in with my mom. And I remember it was close to my birthday. I was turning 24. I had just left a stable job. I had just lost my ex, and now I was living back home. I felt like I did a complete 180 in my life, and it was really tough. But slowly and surely, I found a new place. I got a new roommate. I got a new job. And then I started building purpose around my life. And purpose for me came in the form of running and just exploration, travel. Living up in New York, going to the Adirondacks is one of the easiest way to do some really hardcore hiking, and I liked it a lot. I have aspirations to be a 46er. It forced me to find stuff that gave me happiness outside of someone else. And that's what I think the best thing a breakup in a relationship can do, is force you to find happiness outside of something other than that person. And you have two excerpts of my journal entries, one from directly a week after the breakup happened and one 7 months afterwards. And the tone is noticeably different. I went from being sad and depressed to someone doing things that I didn't think I could ever do. And while it may seem trivial, like you just went and did a 5K, I'm terrified of doing things alone. I'm still scared to like call people up and make a doctor's appointment or go for an oil change somewhere. Like it's still, I have social anxiety, and to overcome that social anxiety and do something that I felt had a purpose to me, it was one of the biggest moments of my life. And I don't say that lightly. I say that very meaningfully. So just know that if you're going through a hard time, no matter what it feels like, you will feel happy again. You will date someone again. I actually ended up finding another girlfriend that I really, really liked like a year and a half to close to 2 years after my breakup. And that one didn't end up well either. But the point is, like, you will find happiness again. I have journal entries of that ex about how happy I was feeling and how I was like, wow, I can't believe this is happening again. Those feelings that you have for that one person are not reserved for that one person alone. It might feel that way. It might feel like you'll never be happy with someone again, but you will. I think the only thing that can make you feel that way is time and the healing that time gives you. It takes time to overcome the loss of a relationship. So be kind to yourself, allow yourself time, dive into something that builds a sense of purpose and meaning for yourself, and you will be okay. Breakups change everything.